Hello everyone. I have an interesting subject for you today. Let me just get right to it. What if I asked you if you had a chance to play with Sonny Rollins? What would you say? Or if you asked Sonny Rollins if you could sit in with his band, and he said yes, what would you do? You know. Well, it's not possible anymore. This sounds like a hypothetical question. But because he quit playing in 2014, I think. Anyway, he doesn't play anymore. But what if it was possible? And what if I told you it still is? I mean, if you're a guitar player and you want to test your comping skills, improve them, you can play with Sonny Rollins because he has a live album recorded. It's called A Night at the Village Vanguard. And he plays some very famous standards over there. But the thing is, he doesn't have any kind of accompaniment instrument. He doesn't have a piano. He doesn't have a piano player. It's just a trio. Wilbur Ware is playing bass and Elvin Jones is playing drums. And sometimes it's really hard to follow these guys. But if you sit in with them, you have a better understanding. If you don't have a chance to play with advanced players, that would be a good workout for you. I've been with great musicians on stage before. What happens is they lift you up to their level. You have to. I wasn't that experienced before that happened, and that changes you, that experience. I can tell you that much. And to simulate that, you can play along with some records. And actually that has been done a lot. I mean, Eric Clapton started playing by playing along with records, but there would be a guitar player there soloing. He would play on top of that. That's different. There is no chordal player in this album. Elvin Jones, sometimes he abstracts the rhythm a lot. It is not easy to follow. I recorded myself comping, and I'll show you some examples. Let's start with the first two A's. So as you can see, I'm not doing anything fancy. The tune is a medium up tempo. It's around 169, 170, I think. So it's not a ballad. Like if you played complex chords, you don't have time for them to ring out. So your role is somewhere in between a percussionist and a chordal instrument. I mean, it's even different than the piano. If you notice, I'm using my thumb because it has a better sound, and then I feel it better. And for comping, I mostly use my thumb. There are two things that are important. Your top note is important, okay? So you would have to know where the melody is going, and your voicing are important. But the most important thing is for you to drive the soloist. Since this is already recorded, Sonny Rollins is not gonna respond to my comping, of course, but he would. I mean, I respond to his soloing. Let's check out some of the chords that I used, okay? All right. I use C minor 6/9 a little bit, and then I use C11, and I go to E flat major 7. But the function over there is C minor 9th, because the bass player is playing C oriented. He's walking the bass. He's not playing the note C, but he's playing C minor sound. Okay, if I play E flat major 7 on top of that, that's like C minor 9th. Okay, and then I do the regular 2 minor 7 flat 5, which is D minor 7 flat 5 to G7 flat 9, okay? But sometimes I use some substitutions. Instead of D minor 7 flat 5, I use the tritone substitution, but then I make it dominant. I use a 3-note chord there, E flat C and G flat. And then I bring it down a half step when the chord changes to G7. I do something like, and this sounds bluesy. You know why? Because there's a blue note there. Okay, and there's no other. I mean, I don't have to play with the piano player, so I'm describing the harmony. I know what is going behind them, and then I try to make the most of the spaces that Sonny Rollins leaves, and I try to go in between them and try to respond to what he's playing. Other than that, I play mostly swinging parts, okay? So let's hear a bit more. Let's hear a bit more. Let's go to the bridge. All right, great. So at the bridge, I create a driving tension, right? So it goes. And then to create more tension, I play counterpoint. At the end of the bridge, I play octaves. I wanted to play everything in one shot and see what comes out. I mean, so that I could help you better. I could help you understand better the benefits of doing this. All right. By the way, I mean, this is a guitar thing, but if you're a piano player, you can check your comping skills against that album too. Like I said, there is no chordal instruments, so you can check your comping skills with piano too. Also, there are other albums that you can do similar stuff. Like if you're a bass player, then you can use Bill Evans and Jim Hall duo album, Undercurrent. It's called Undercurrent. There is no bass player there. Let's get back to what I did. I do like 1 6 2 5. So 1 6. Try to stay close to the scale a little bit, but I do play C minor 6 and then A 7 sharp 5 and then A flat 13 and then G7 sharp 5 or flat 13, you could say it. More important thing about this is I try to follow the form and try to make it interesting, all right? And if I ever played with Sonny Rollins and I played anything like this, he would respond to some of those sounds. I mean, towards the end, he keeps repeating note G, and I respond to it. And I do something like that. I keep G on top. C minor 6 with G on top. C minor 9, which is in shape of E flat major 7. And then D flat minor 7 flat 5. Actually it's minor 11th because G is the 11th, flat 5. And then G7 flat 9, all right? So I keep holding this G note to respond to what Sonny is doing, okay? And sometimes it's not, if he's emphasizing a certain note, you can emphasize it with the soloist to make it even stronger. But sometimes you may want to play something different. While he's doing that, you play what he's not playing. Okay, those are both good strategies. You're gonna say, what kind of strategy you can think about at the heat of the moment, especially in a medium up-tempo song, right? Okay, true. Well, you can think about it when you're practicing comping, and you should practice comping. And many of the guitar players, especially at the beginning, they practice mostly soloing, but they don't spend enough time for comping. Okay? But let me tell you this from experience, from years of experience. Guitar is a rhythm section instrument. So you're going to find work mostly accompanying a singer or a saxophone player. So your comping skills are crucial. You have to know a lot of standards. You have to swing well, and then and make it easier for the soloist. Drive him, interact with him, have a musical conversation with him. Those are important skills, okay? And especially if you had the chance to play with Sonny Rollins. I mean, Peter Bernstein played with him for a while, and Peter is my friend. Actually, they came to Istanbul for a concert, and I was there that night. And the concert, there was a couple of tunes. It was rough. And I asked Peter, what happened there? And he's like, Sonny Rollins asked me the same thing. He asked me why, it was rough at some moments. And he said, we had a sound check for 2 hours. So Sonny Rollins plays it like a concert, and whatever the sound engineer can mix while they're playing, that's the sound check. Okay, so he has on and off button. He's not gonna blow long notes for the sound engineer to adjust his sound. He's just gonna play, and the band should be ready to play with him. And it's not an easy task. So band gets tired, and Peter politely, of course, tried to tell Sonny Rollins that the other bands I'm in, they don't have 2 hours of long sound checks, okay? And Sonny Rollins comes back at him with an answer I could never imagine. He says, is it guaranteed that you're going to play the concert that night? And when I heard this, I said, wow, look at the dedication. I mean, imagine this guy quit playing twice after he is very famous. He quit playing twice to practice because of busy schedule for concerts. He didn't have enough time to practice. So he took a break for a year once, and then for 2 years another time. And then he practiced at Williamsburg Bridge. I know that bridge really well when I used to live in New York. So he practiced on the bridge for 2 years. He has that kind of dedication. He is looking at soundcheck as an opportunity to play. He plays many concerts. He's Sonny Rollins. He's very successful. So that was interesting for me. I just wanted to share that. Anyway, back to our point. For me, to simulate that in any kind of level, I did a lot of comping practice sessions with the albums, okay? And especially when there's no chordal player. You should try that out. It's a great exercise, okay? And that's about it for this subject. Have a nice day.